Hi folks, I'm going to be talking about a local issue here near me in Sydney, and I'm going to link in a Sydney Morning Herald article and also a few thoughts from a organisation group that I'm involved with, Cooks River Alliance. Um, Less than 2 weeks ago, there was a fish kill event in the Cooks River that was not reported by much of the Sydney newspaper media. Images were provided to all us members, and I'm being allowed to show at least one of these pictures that is going to be on the kind of cover shot of this audio video. Um, so February 11th, the Cooks River Alliance on their Facebook page said the Alliance was sad to confirm reports of dead bream and mullet in the mangroves at Kendrick Park, Tempe this afternoon. This is a somber discovery a few weeks out from the Warragul Festival, Mullet Festival, which celebrates life and seasons along the river, represented by the mullet. This is Cooks River. So basically, some of the other images that I cannot share show pretty much bream and mullet species pretty much dead. Couple of hundred were reported. They have been since cleaned up from the numerous councils and the EPA, but the pictures remain. Cooks River is a very polluted river, and in the shot that you see on the front cover, you see, people just use it as a dumping ground. Okay, the article written by Jordan Baker in the Environmental Protection section in the Sydney Morning Herald is called "A Fine Stream to a Waste Dump. Can the Cooks River be revived?" This was released on January the 12th, 2019. Okay, early last century, the Cooks River was thick with swimmers. There were baths at Undercliff, a life-saving club at Marrickville, and a skinny dipping spot at Holston Park, which was aptly known as Starkey's Corner. Annette Kellerman, the professional swimmer turned actress and one of the first women to wear one-piece bathers rather than pantaloons, was among those who took regular dips in the Cooks River, but she probably shouldn't have. By the 1900s, the poisoning of the Cooks River by industrial waste upstream was underway. By the 1970s, its waters would become a cocktail of diesel, mercury, battery acid, and cyanide. Yes, cyanide. So toxic the fish died and birds fled. There's a picture in the article of, cars dumped in the river. Cars lined the Cooks River along Canterbury Racecourse in 1979. Awesome. But things are looking up for arguably Australia's most polluted river. Wildlife is returning, the community is rallying, and thanks to a push to rehabilitate and protect it, the Cooks River might thrive again. No. Sorry. Yes, the community does look after the river. There's weekly cleanups, there's weekly plantings, but there's still a lot of pollution. Wildlife is not really returning. No Australian river has suffered as much from urbanisation as the Cooks River, which was praised as a fine stream by its namesake, Captain James Cook, but eventually became a de facto waste dump and sewage pipe. Part of the problem was that European settlers found it baffling. It wasn't a proper river like the Thames or Tyne. It was a network of wetlands and floodplains, which was annoyingly soggy to build along. So over decades, governments set about forcing it to behave like European rivers. Its banks were channeled, concreted, or lined with steel. While wetlands were filled in, its mouth was rerouted to accommodate the airport. Oh God, humanity, what are we fucking doing to this planet? At the same time, it became a waste pipe, carrying blood and bone from the tallow industry, grease from soap factories and wool washing, and later diesel from the rail yards and battery acid from the Marshalls factory at Canterbury. During the 1970s, arguably the worst decade in the river's history, there were two massive fish kills in two successive years. One as a result of raw sewage, and the other from cyanide leak. My God, cyanide again! A factory at nearby Campsie. By then, the Cooks River had all had sorry. By then, the Cooks River had all been but ridden off. Swimming had ceased. Even boating was considered risky. The common joke was that if you fell in, you'd dissolve, and picnics were unpleasant due to the stench. The Cooks River begins near Stafford Park in Yagoona and flows east for 23 kilometres through the inner southwest suburbs of Sydney to Botany Bay. In 2016 and 17, the ecological health of the Cooks River catchment was very poor. The results are symptoms of what is known as urban stream syndrome. Health rating at the upper Cooks River was D. So from A, which is great, to E, yeah, just yeah, E for just yeah, awful. Cooks River Estuary D plus, Cox Creek and offshoot E, holy heck. Cap and Saucer Creek E, Willow Creek E, Barbell Creek D plus. God, you don't want to get those scores in a high school test. Yet its nadir was its turning point. By the 1990s, the community began rallying, demanding actions from governments and councils. Action has come, albeit slowly. A few wetlands, such as Cup and Saucer Creek, have been recreated, and Sydney Water, which is responsible for the concrete channels, is slowly naturalising banks as the man-made ones need to be replaced. Environmental agencies watch out for toxic spills. Although as recently as July there was concerns about a petrol leak in Tempe. Yep, they're still happening. Eels and pelicans and some fish have returned. There is even an occasional fisherman, albeit they are warned not to eat the catch. Why would you want to bloody eat fish out of the river? The poor fish, one, are full of cyanide. There's another picture in this article. Andrew Lee, age 10, puts bait on one of his rods while fishing on the Cooks River at Boat Harbour in Holson Park. Good luck, son. Age 10. Do you want to, get to age 20? Don't eat the fish. It has definitely improved, said Bexley resident Michael Thompson, who has walked along the river almost every day for 15 years. There's a sense of community ownership. Even simple things like the stench at low tide isn't as bad as it used to be. Trust me, son, some days it is. But the scars of centuries' worth of meddling remain, and it will cost more than any council or government is presently willing to spend to remove the most obvious of these, the concrete and steel lining more than half of the river's 23 kilometres of banks. Improving the water quality will take generations, and given the toxins in the river bed, swimming is unlikely to be possible for decades, if ever. My God, humanity, what have we done to this planet? It will never again be like it was in pre-industrial times, said Ian Tyrrell, author of River Dreams. I've met Ian, great bloke. Undoing the damage inflicted on the Cooks River is one battle, but advocates are fighting for more. The first is to stop the damage of getting worse. This means reducing the daily tons of plastic, organic matter and silt that drains into the Cooks River from its massive concrete-covered catchment, smothering nascent wildlife, clogging the riverbed, and adding to the smell, which has improved but still lingers at low tide. So the article goes on. I won't read further of it. I'm just seeing. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's unfortunately, due to the toxins, the cyanide still in the bloody riverbed, fish are still dying. People are using the river as a, it still is. It still is being used as a dumping ground. And the fish kill of 2 less than 2 weeks ago is showing that not enough is being done. We humans only bloody worry about ourselves. We kill every other animal life thinking that there's not going to be any repercussions for us. There will be. There will be. Okay, I better finish with this audio video. Thank you guys, and I'll be back with another video soon. One more to make free in one day.